What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the Living in Grand Junction, Colorado channel. I'm Robert Hayes with the #1 relocation team here in Grand Junction, along with my wife and the rest of the crew. Today, we've got the most comprehensive, in-depth presentation on everything that you need to know about moving here to Grand Junction, Colorado. You're going to want to take notes. You're going to want to hit pause. Let's just call it the ultimate guide to moving to Grand Junction, and we're going to do it right now. What I thought we would do in this presentation is cover a few things, and we'll dance around a little bit, of course. But the major roads, right? You want to know where I-70 cuts through the Grand Valley, the business loop, some of those things, Highway 50 going down south. And then we're going to cover the areas of Grand Junction, which is super important because really we tell clients all the time, those pictures that you look on Zillow, those are super fun, realtor.com, but really it's the area that you want to nail down first, and finding the home then becomes quite simple at that point. So this will determine where you live. And then of course, some of the pros and some of the cons of certain areas, just based on some of the client feedback that we've received over the years. We've got the map pulled up here, and what I thought we would do to start is just give you a 50,000 foot view of where Grand Junction is located as it relates to some bigger cities in Colorado and in Utah for that matter. So if you've never been here, this is going to be pretty helpful for you. If you've already been here, hang tight with us. You'll probably get some nuggets out of this as well. So Grand Junction is right there. Denver, Colorado. It's about 4 hours east on Interstate 70. Salt Lake City, about 4 hours northwest of Grand Junction. The border is right here between Colorado and Utah. You got Moab right here. So we're really only about 22 miles or so from the Colorado-Utah border. The largest city on the west side of the Rockies, which are going to be, about right there. And again, Denver 4 hours, Salt Lake City 4 hours. We've expanded it out even further because this is a question that we get all the time, and it's super important, obviously, depending on where you live in the country. The airport, the #1 rated airport in Colorado, but where the heck can you go to? Well, you can get to anywhere in the country or the world for that matter, and here's how you do it. Grand Junction is, about right there. So from the Grand Junction Regional Airport, you can get to Los Angeles, you can get to Las Vegas, you can get to, let's call it Denver, if I can spell on this thing. You can get to Denver, obviously. You can get to Phoenix, Arizona, and you can also get to Dallas, Texas. So those are the 5 cities from Grand Junction that you can fly direct to. Now, they did have a Salt Lake route with Delta Airlines and Frontier. Those are no longer, but they seem to every year pop in and out of Salt Lake, or someone does. But a little tip, if you're going from somewhere other than those 5 cities, I would certainly recommend going to Phoenix. Why Phoenix, Arizona? Well, it's an international airport, and really it doesn't matter what time of the year, Phoenix is going to be just fine to fly out of, right? For the most part. You head into Denver during the winter months, or even the spring with some of those severe thunderstorms, and it's a destination that you guys do not want to miss. You want to take that chance flying into Denver versus going into Phoenix and then heading out from that point. So definitely recommend going into Phoenix and then heading on to your next destination from there. Grand Junction is in the Grand Valley. You have about, let's call it a little over 110,000 people in the entire Grand Valley. But you've got Grand Junction right there, Fruita off to the west, and you got Palisade Wine Country off to the east. You've got Interstate 70 right here that runs through the north part of town and heads up on into, you get into Vail, Aspen, Breckenridge, those destinations heading east on Interstate 70. You've got Orchard Mesa down here, down south. The whole valley itself, let's call it from Fruita to Palisade, that's only about 15 miles east-west. That's why our average commute time is only about, oh, let's call it 14 minutes is the last numbers that I've read. And then you go north. This is all desert here, but from, let's call it right here to going down south into Orchard Mesa, that's only about 8 miles north-south. So again, when you're talking about commute time, pretty easy to get around town in Grand Junction, whether you're going east-west or even north-south. So you got the I-70 business loop, which is going to be right there, runs right into downtown. You've got Highway 340, which runs from downtown essentially through the Redlands area of town. And that's going to take you all the way back in to Fruita. You got the Colorado National Monument right there. So some super desirable neighborhoods in and along the south part of the Redlands area. Then you've got Highway 50, which you take that through Orchard Mesa. You can keep taking that all the way down into, guess what? Telluride is only about 2 hours away from Grand Junction heading south on Interstate 50. Got Highway 6 runs through town, and that turns into Highway 50 heading northwest. So when you're in the middle of town, let's call it a stretch, right about here, they'll call that Highway 6 and 50, the 6 and 50, which is going to be kind of downtown where the mall is. All the shops, well, not shops, but some of the main restaurants, Buffalo Wild Wings, Olive Garden, Red Robin, all those places, Walmart, they'll say that's off of Highway 6 and 50. Then you got Palisade off here to the east, and you've got that interstate access right there, northeast part of town, interstate access, north part of town, all right there, Interstate 70. Even east of Palisade, you've got the Grand Mesa, which is right here, world's largest flat top mountain, and you're going to take Interstate 70 to Highway 65, and that'll take you to Powderhorn Ski Resort, about 40 minutes away. They also have mountain biking when it's not winter season. When that's done, spring, summer, and fall, you can mountain bike up there at Powderhorn Ski Resort. And then of course you got the Colorado River, flows right through town, starts up there in the east in Palisade, all the way through downtown and starts heading northwest, and that goes all the way past Fruita and on out. So as far as your river rafting, your kayaking, paddleboarding, you got the Colorado River right there flowing right through the center of Grand Junction. Where's the Gunnison River? How'd we get our name? There's the Gunnison River, goes south of Orchard Mesa. They meet up, and that's how we got the name Grand Junction. Okay, let's talk about some median home prices. These numbers are a little lagged, only by a couple of months, but they should be pretty darn accurate for where they're at right now as well. Let's start out with Fruita, Colorado, and that's going to be again in the northwest part of town. Let's fix that. Hit the marker. Fruita, Colorado, median home price right now is about $465,000. The median home price, let me back up real quick, the median home price in general for the entire valley is $410,000, and that's the exact same number as it was June of 2022. So you read about what's going on in the real estate world. Austin, Texas is down 10%. A lot of other larger cities are down even more than that. We're pretty dang stable here in Grand Junction at $410,000, which is the exact same number that it was a year ago. So with that, the tourist destination, top retirement destinations in the country, we certainly are on the radar. But the great news is our growth rate is still pretty dang minimal at only 1.5% annually. All right, let's go back to areas. The northwest part of town, just next to Fruita, let's call the northwest right there between Fruita and the north part of town. It's $526,000 median home price in the northwest part of town. Redlands area, very popular and desirable part of Grand Junction. That's going to be down here. You're looking at $600,000 median home price in the Redlands, and I would say over the last several years anyway, those probably the top 3 most asked for areas from our clients is going to be Fruita, the Northwest, and the Redlands. We'll throw the North area in there as well, which is just north of Patterson, which is right there. And that extends to about 24 Road to 28 Road. So we'll call that the North area. I should probably write the numbers inside the circle. That makes a little more sense, doesn't it? $451 is the median home price for the north part of town. So you've got kind of the most desirable areas for our clients anyway, when they're coming out and looking at property and looking at areas that they're vibing with. Those 4, the North, Northwest, Fruita, and the Redlands, seem to always be on everyone's radar. The northeast part of town, right there, you're looking at a median home price of about $369,000. So definitely you've got affordability in the northeast part of town. You've got the southeast part of town, even more so. Southeast part of town, you're looking at a median home price, looking at some notes here, guys, of $325,000 for the southeast. So if you're looking for, from a budgetary standpoint, look, you know, 600 grand, it's just not for us. We're a young family starting out. We just want to get in the game, which of course, from a real estate perspective, over time, you're always going to do well over an extended period of time in real estate. But with rates hovering in the 7.5%, we just want to get in the game, get some equity over time. And when rates come down, which, you know, guys, they will, I would think at some point, you certainly have that opportunity to refinance, get the lower rate, save a monthly payment that way. And then you got Palisade, which you're looking at $395 in Palisade. So $395,000 in Palisade. Wine country, population of about 3,000 people. Just finished a video up on why there's not a problem with Palisade. It's a great community. Again, 3,000 people, wine country, a lot of cool festivals, farmers markets. There's just not a lot of inventory for you guys to pick off in Palisade because of that lower population. And then you've got down here in Orchard Mesa, Spyglass Ridge is in Orchard Mesa, real popular new enclave, and you're looking at a median home price of $371,000 in Orchard Mesa. So that kind of gives you a snapshot of where the different price points are in the valley. And you know, again, you're looking at some, you know, lower end 325 all the way up to 600. Now again, you can find that 410 in the Redlands, no problem. Plenty of opportunity to do that. We finished a few videos on some neighborhoods. You're looking at homes that are probably built in the mid, later 70s, where you can get even under 410 in the Redlands. So again, that's just the median home price for the entire valley. Again, about 11,000 people in Fruita, and only about here's downtown here, maybe 8 to 10 minute commute into Grand Junction, so downtown. So do not let Fruita being, from a distance standpoint, preventing you from being out in a little more, even more rural than Grand Junction, because again, you're only 8 to 10 minutes back into downtown Grand Junction. But you've got the Colorado Canyons Hospital right there, so you have your own medical facility in Fruita. You've got the Adobe Creek Golf Course right there, and then right next to Adobe Creek, you have Adobe Falls, which is just incredible new neighborhood with gorgeous monument views. The National Monument basically is right here, guys. I mean, that's the cliff face of the monument, and that extends going southeast throughout the valley. So you don't have to be in the Redlands or something along those lines in Grand Junction to get that monument view. You can do that in Fruita as well. Got a new wake zone. We did a video about that. Tow rope wake zone. Get your wakeboard out. Don't need a boat. You can go to the wake zone out there. But just dotted with incredible subdivisions throughout Fruita, old and new. You got homes in the 90s. You got homes that were built in the turn of the century in Fruita. So plenty of opportunity out in Fruita. You've got access, obviously, to the Colorado River. James Robb State Park is right there in Fruita. And of course, the number one thing that everyone wants right here on Main Street, hot tomato pizza. You got probably the best pizza in town right there in downtown Fruita. Let's head over to the northwest part of town, which of course is just adjacent to Fruita on the east side of Fruita. And you're basically looking at, see all the green space here? I mean, that's what you can expect in the northwest. Plenty of room out there. Now there's a couple of newer subdivisions popping up in the northwest, and it's not these 300, 400 home subdivisions. You're talking 40 home subdivisions, 50 homes like Smith Ranch Estates. We went out there, probably about a year ago. Gorgeous homes. One of the homes in Smith Ranch Estates was actually in the Parade of Homes. It won all kinds of awards. You've got Silver Spur subdivision in the northwest part of town. So if you want, a little bit of a buffer between Fruita and Grand Junction, but you don't want to be all the way out in Fruita, the northwest part of town certainly can be a great option for you. The con might be the fact that, you are, a little bit of a distance into downtown, but again, if you're only 8 to 10 minutes from Fruita, you can only imagine you're that much quicker in the northwest to get into downtown Grand Junction. Redlands part of town, again, one of those more desirable areas of Grand Junction. You've got that Highway 340 that runs right through the Redlands, and no one takes the interstate. That's the business loop. And then you've got Interstate 70. No one takes the interstate in Grand Junction unless you're going out of town, whether you're going to Moab an hour and a half away or heading east along the I-70 corridor going up into the high country. But yeah, you can take Highway 340 into Fruita, stretches right through the Redlands. You've got Colorado Golf Course. You've got the Redlands Mesa Golf Course community, the #1 rated golf course in Colorado. And again, guys, the Monument Face is essentially, there's the road right there. 22-mile road that stretches on top of the monument, which you have to do. It is just breathtaking. So that Monument Face is basically, that's the Monument Face. So you can see why people want to be in the Redlands for that just incredible, gorgeous view of the National Monument. Some cool neighborhoods. You've got Independence Ranch right about here, about 1/3 of an acre on each parcel. Just about in Independence Ranch. You've got all kinds of cool neighborhoods popping up along aside the Colorado Golf Course. Talked about the Redlands Mesa Golf Course community, which you don't have to be $2 million, $3 million to get into the Redlands Mesa Golf Course community. Just closed on a property, was $870 in the most prestigious golf course community in Colorado. So you don't have to, drain your entire wallet, even if you wanted to be in the Redlands Mesa Golf Course community. Another area that I wanted to point out that just seems to pop up all the time in the Redlands, and it's right here off of South Camp Road. So you've got basically Monument Road, which is going to extend basically southeast of the Redlands, and you got the ranger station basically right there, and that'll take you up on the monument, on that Monument Drive. You make a right-hand turn on South Camp Road, and then this is Redlands Parkway, which will take you back into town, and you can even take 340 going back into downtown Grand Junction. But right here is a road called South Camp. And along South Camp Road are a number of just incredibly desirable neighborhoods. Again, got the Monument Wall basically right there. So you're right up against the National Monument. You've got neighborhoods like Granite Falls. You've got neighborhoods like Canyon Rim, Canyon View, Canyon Vista, all along this South Camp Road with just incredible views. Now again, the median home price is $600,000, but you're looking at probably first digit of a 7, maybe high 6s in any one of those neighborhoods on either side of South Camp Road. Just again, probably the most breathtaking views in a neighborhood that you could probably find here in Grand Junction. Okay, let's pop up to the north area of town and take a look at what you can find out there. Essentially, the north area is 24 Road to 28 Road going east, and then north of Patterson. So you've got Patterson Road right here. That's one of the main east-west roads through the valley. We'll just write that here so you can kind of make note of where that is. And then you have North Avenue or Highway 6, same street, another main east-west road through the valley. But the north area North Avenue. The north area is going to be between 24 Road and about 20, I think 28 Road's going to be right about here. And that's basically the north. Some incredible neighborhoods in the north part of town. You have, name it, Spring Valley. You've got Grandview, Fountain Greens. We just did an expose on Fountain Greens. You have Canyon View Park, the largest park in Grand Junction is in the north part of town. Straight shot to the airport, which is the north part of town. Access to Interstate 70 in the north part of town. So you're basically close to everything, and I think that goes to why it's so desirable. It's not the highest price point in Grand Junction, and it's, again, from an accessibility standpoint and where it's located, proximity to everything that you could possibly want. You got the Colorado River, you've got an access point, right about here to get onto the Colorado River. So very desirable for those reasons. Certainly check out the north part of town. Again, one of the more desirable areas for our clients over the last several years. Moving on to the northeast part of town, which we knew that the north area was at 28 Road, kind of the stop point. Let's call it, I believe that's 28. If I'm not, I'm pretty close. The northeast part of town is going to be to the river and up to the interstate. So that's the northeast part of town. Again, if you recall when we were talking about the median home price, the northeast was $369. So definitely from an affordability standpoint, a lot of folks that you're kind of looking for that below 400. The northeast is certainly on their target. You got City Market, all the things you need. You've got a Walmart up there in the northeast. That's actually just a food Walmart, but you got City Market, again, close to the river, not too far away. You've got that Highway 6 running up through to the interstate if you need access, close access to the interstate. The only thing that I can say, and it's not a pro or a con, the northeast is just dense. So you've got Patterson Road right here, and on either side of Patterson, it's just neighborhood after neighborhood after subdivision after subdivision after subdivision. So it's dense, right? But maybe that's what you're used to. It's not going to be as spread out as the Northwest or in Fruita or the Redlands or even the Southeast for that matter. Just, a lot of neighborhoods. Some old, some brand new. Arabesque is in the northeast part of town. Just got Terry from Dallas, Texas into that gorgeous subdivision in the northeast part of town. So it's a great mix, plenty of neighborhoods to choose from, and again, super affordable as a comparison to other parts of Grand Junction. Just head a little south and go to the southeast part of town, which again, that median home price in the southeast was right about $325, even less than the northeast. And that's going to be, I think I said the northeast was going to be that border was the river. It's not. The northeast, the border is that business loop. So again, we'll go to 28 Road. That's the northeast. And then you take that business loop and cut to the river. That's going to be the southeast. So you got northeast and you've got southeast. The cool thing about the southeast is you're even closer to the river. You've got Riverwalk. We just got some wonderful clients. They're going to be closing right around Christmas time in the southeast part of town. Just a gorgeous neighborhood. Got access walking trails right to the Colorado River. Chatfield, Dove Creek, some great subdivisions. Great access to James Robb State Park. You got Corn Lake right there, so you can launch your boat right there. You had another in Fruita, James Robb State Park. So there's two. You have one in the southeast and you have one out there in Fruita. We'll go ahead and do this right off Highway 340. So there's two in town as far as access. Plenty of other access points to get on the river, but those are the two James Robb State Park locations. Let's go ahead and zoom back in, go back over to the southeast. So again, you have that access point to the river, plenty of affordable neighborhoods right next to downtown Grand Junction, right close to the northeast. You can hop on what they call, let me get rid of this real quick, zoom in, 32 Road. We'll go ahead and hit that. So you're in the southeast, say you live Oh, in one of these neighborhoods here, you can take D Road to 32 Road, straight shot to the business loop, hit the interstate that way. Or you can take 32 Road, go all the way down, or 141, whatever you want to call it, Highway 141, hit the 50 and start heading down south. So access to some of the major roads, some affordability, close to the river. Those are the things that I would say are certainly a pro for the Southeast. Con, I really can't think of a whole lot at this point. A lot of folks that have moved into the Southeast really love being in that area of town. Again, maybe from a distance standpoint, you wanted to be a little closer, maybe to the north area or downtown, or maybe you wanted to be a different proximity for whatever reason to some of the access in the north. About the only thing I can say about maybe a con of the Southeast. That's about it. All right, let's take a look at Orchard Mesa and what that has to offer for you. Basically, you're south of Grand Junction. This is a hop, skip, and a proverbial jump from downtown Grand Junction. Highway 50 curves around, literally 4 or 5 minutes and you're in downtown. One of the more premier neighborhoods that just came in the last, I would say 8-10 years, probably less than that. Spyglass Ridge, just some gorgeous homes. It's up on a bluff. You've got, some of these homes just have a panoramic view, full 180 of the entire valley up there in Spyglass Ridge. But there's some other cool neighborhoods in Orchard Mesa. The only complaint I would say that clients have said about Orchard Mesa is just limited shopping, really. You have one City Market grocery store right about there, and you've got some, little, kind of chicken rice bowl places. You got a Mexican food place. You got, I think, a Thai food place, barbecue. But there's not a ton of shopping in Orchard Mesa. But again, you go right into downtown Grand Junction. You can head up here to City Market right there. You've got that neighborhood Walmart over there. There's some shopping in Clifton you can do, which is really kind of part of the northeast part of town. Yeah, it's about the only thing I would say about Orchard Mesa is just maybe, it's the older Grand Junction, right? You've got bungalows that were built in the 40s and 50s, and maybe you don't want to drive through a neighborhood that has 40s and 50s homes to get to your 2020 home. All subjective, all personal preference. But again, you can hop on the 50, start heading down into, Montrose, Telluride, a couple of hours away. So you have that straight shot being in Orchard Mesa. Okay, let's just end it with some things that are close by in proximity to Grand Junction. Everyone's kind of looking forward to, maybe want to get out of town and go to, some place for the weekend. There is a ton of things in and around close by to Grand Junction. We do have Highline Lake. We've highlighted Highline, if that makes any sense, in one of our videos, a couple actually. That's right out here in kind of the Loma area, let's call it right there. It's only about a mile long from end to end, so we call it the puddle affectionately here in Grand Junction. But if you want like the real boating, plenty of places that are close by to do that. Christie and I just did it this weekend. One of them is Lake Powell, Bullfrog, Interstate 70, Green River, head south through Hanksville. You're in Bullfrog, Utah, and it's about, let's call it a 3-hour drive to Lake Powell from Grand Junction. You also have, let's see, you've got Glenwood Springs. Go to the hot springs. It's about an hour and 15 minutes away from Grand Junction. You got the Grand Mesa, the world's largest flat top mountain, over 300 lakes, an hour away from Grand Junction. You've got your Vail, you've got your Aspen, about 2-hour drive from Grand Junction, not very far at all. You've got Crested Butte, another little vacation spot up in the elevation. And then, of course, you've got Telluride down south. There's that Highway 50. You can take that all the way down into Telluride in about 2 hours from Grand Junction. We've already talked about Denver and Salt Lake not being very far away. Moab, Utah, Arches National Park, Canyonlands, all that stuff. It's about, let's call it an hour and a half away from Grand Junction. So many things to do in close proximity to Grand Junction. Breckenridge, right there. I mean, some of these, world renowned that you hear about all the time in Colorado, Breckenridge, Vail, Aspen, really close to Grand Junction, but yet you don't have to live in the crazy snowfall. We're only about 4,500 feet in Grand Junction, which means you're only getting about 15 inches of snow per year instead of 6 feet in Denver. So we are considered high desert. But we do have all those wonderful places to go to from, a destination standpoint pretty close by. Hope that was informative. I hope that was all encompassing. Give you that 50,000 foot view, and then also just getting down to the nitty gritty in some of the areas of Grand Junction. But again, guys, as much as we love doing these videos, we'd love nothing more than to absolutely crush your goals when heading out this way. So the information popping up below, reach out any way that you know how. Give us a phone call, shoot us a text, send us an email, even send the carrier pigeon. We've got your back days, nights, weekends when heading out here to Grand Junction. Until the next video, we'll catch you later.